Hello everyone, my name is Denise. I'm a Catholic counselor, and today I'll be doing a really fresh thing that I have never done before, which is a video about myself and an update of where I am these days. Okay, so when I first started learning about counseling and doing my master's in counseling about, you could say, 5 years back. Yep, I did my counseling at ECTA, which is a secular counseling school. Although Jessica Leong, Dr. Jessica, she's a Catholic, she's the CEO, but the school is a secular school that taught like secular psychotherapy, many different modalities. And somehow when I entered that school, I decided to bracket all my religious beliefs, to open my mind to learn about a secular form of therapy. So that was the very beginning of my splitting. Okay, and I did it motivated mainly by my desire to reach out to all kinds of clients, not only those who are Christian or Catholics, but every single one. And I thought that in order to do that, I need to bracket my own religious beliefs, my own convictions. So, but as I progressed along the years, this splitting of my inner psyche, which is the persona I wear as a counselor and when I'm not a counselor, became very uncomfortable for me. I was like, I had to bracket a whole lot of me, and I found that it sort of impeded my congruence in the room. Okay, for example, if I met a lady whom I know has already had some sexual encounters with her former boyfriends, I might encourage her to continue to do so with her future boyfriends or something like that, which is actually technically speaking against my principles, because I really wanted to uphold her dignity, something like that. So as a result, I made many mistakes, and looking back, I start to feel a sense of guilt and shame. Why did I do that? Was it to pretend to be something I'm not? And was it because I wanted to have a job, to make a living, to retain my clients? Or was it, like I want to create a non-judgmental space? But you see, this is quite incongruent. If I'm judging myself for being too extreme and religious and hence not suitable to be a counselor, then how am I going to be congruent when I'm trying to talk to my clients and offer them the non-judgmental space, when I'm constantly judging myself, masking and holding back? So recently, I've managed to reintegrate those portions that I have so-called split. Like, I believe that my clients, they have the capacity to accept me for whoever I am, whether I'm a Catholic or not, right? And hence, you notice that the content of my page has started to be more and more integrative. Like, I start to integrate psychotherapy, psychology, counseling together with my Catholic faith. They're all like tied into one video, instead of, in the past, I'll have like Christian videos and then the psychotherapy videos. So it's like two different minds. It is now suddenly integrated. It's in the process of getting integrated into one. And as a result, I also feel less anxious. I feel more sure about myself, more steady, and more willing to accept whatever comes my way. I think I'm not sure yet, because I'm still just beginning this new phase of my life. But I think that my clients might also experience it more. That I'm no longer saying things that I don't mean in order to fit into the framework. I'm just very faithful to who I am and my beliefs. And you see, I'm so worried because a big chunk of my clientele are the LGBT. And I'm scared that they will say that, oh, you're Catholic, and then there'll be things like homophobia and all that packed onto that faith. So that is not so good. Plus, oh, you're Catholic, no sex until marriage, no contraception. Will you try to impose these views on us? The kind of feeling. So, because of all these fears, I tried my best to bracket my faith, to hide it, you see. But I feel that no, it's okay to have all these beliefs, as long as I'm a person who's genuinely loving. And I do genuinely love my LGBT clients so much. I also genuinely love all my other clients who are not Catholic, with different moral scaffolds. I do love them, and I love listening to them. exploring their own moral scaffold and helping them work out their issues based on that scaffold, and if required to psychoeducate or teach them a little bit more, but not in a very imposing, impinging kind of way. So yeah, I guess I'm taking a plunge into the deep end of the pool now. Take a big risk. Will I lose a big chunk of my clientele? Maybe, but I believe that it is God's will. Because once you've reached a certain stage in your career or your spiritual life, you no longer feel okay with pretending to be something you're not. Okay, I'm just going to read something from this book by Saint Teresa of Avila, The Way of Perfection. In the measure that you grow in the spiritual life, you grow in sensitivity to sin and awareness of your own sins and of others' sins, and also the evil present in society. That's page 436. So, okay, what it means, right? Sin, okay, if you want, you can think about it like the 7 capital sins, right? Gluttony, lust, covetousness, pride, envy, anger, sloth. I can't believe I actually remember it. Yeah, you could think about it like that, or you could think about sin as missing the mark. Like I talked before about moral privation, like a incompleteness of your moral state, a privation, something is missing. So you become very sensitive to what's missing, to in which point you're not hitting the mark. You're sensitive to that in yourself and also in others, like your clients or in wherever you go. So of course that comes with a constant sense of guilt, but at the same time it also needs to be met by the constant mercy of God. So there's a constant two voices of guilt plus mercy that's stronger to envelop it. So it is the same in the room when I'm together with my client. I've experienced the same thing, but I can, because of knowing and deep awareness of my own sins, I can now connect with that part in my client and offer the empathy and the healing that's required, the mercy that's required afterwards. So I don't know how else to do that if not for the grace of God. So I'm not going to want to separate that part of me, but invite that part into that room. Okay, let me see another one. Yeah, I actually wanted to look for this book because there's a page where she said like sometimes she holds her mouth shut because she's worried that if she expresses her opinion, Saint Teresa expresses her opinion, it might come across as too extreme. So for some things that she should have been very firmly opposing, she instead chose not to. So that is what I observe in myself as well. And I guess it is a process. Even that is a muscle that requires working. When to speak, when to hold. Because if you speak too early, too soon, at the wrong place, sometimes people get too condemned and too frightened away, too judged and too ashamed, they won't come back. But if you condemn too late, then it's almost as if you're giving permission for this to continue, for the person to continue hurting himself, which is not good as well. Okay, I love this. This is from page 463. He wants us to love truth, we love the lie. He wants us to desire the eternal, we here below lean toward what comes to an end. He wants us to desire sublime and great things, we here below desire base and earthly things. He would want us to desire only what is secure, we here below love the dubious. I love that because it is true. The invisible realm of things that we cannot see is so much bigger than the realm that we can see. So it is so much easier to desire a beautiful house, a beautiful car, a great job, fantastic holiday. All this is because you can see it, or beautiful clothes, right? But what about the invisible things that God wishes to give us, the things that are imperishable, our treasure in heaven? Very few people have that kind of strong desire for it, because if you do, then you'll be devoting all your resources to chasing after virtues, to helping people, doing God's will. They're no longer devoting it, chasing after the visible things of the world. And yet, it is not so visibly seen. Okay, the last quote. Let me see. For in the end, all must serve him despite themselves, but those in hell do so by force, whereas we do so willingly. That's from page 450. Which is quite interesting. I've read this elsewhere in like the Book of a Life, Saint Teresa, and maybe even in the Interior Castle. This one. Also by Saint Teresa, that she wrote the same thing, like we all end up doing God's will, but if we do it willingly, at least we don't struggle that much. If we don't do it willingly, we struggle a lot. So sometimes what we need is to just surrender and let God lead. Don't struggle so much, which I think essentially is what I'm trying to communicate today. It took so long for me to finally integrate it into my entire practice, to no longer say things I don't mean, just in order to try to fit into the culture. You see, I guess you could say that I also picked that up somewhere in my teenage years, or in my growing up in my early 20s. If I'm becoming too, what's that word? I felt that in my university JC culture, they like people who are more open-minded, you know, or those who either are doing these things like promiscuous sex and all that, clubbing, and like getting wasted outside. They love people who are more open to that kind of experiences. Or even if you don't do it, at least be supportive of it. Somehow I learned that lesson. So in a way, even now in my 30s, it started to overflow into my current practice. When I'm when people tell me about such things, it's like I feel obligated to put on a mask to say I'm totally okay with that, when actually I'm not okay. I think that is really bad and it's harmful to the person's integrity and dignity as a person. And that may exactly be what they want. It's not like they don't know I'm Catholic. I already put it very clearly in my profile and I introduced myself with that, right? So perhaps even if they are still participating in all those things, when they come and see me as a counselor, what my clients want could be for me to tell them, no, this is bad for you. I can't say that, I can't force you to stop, because that's not within my control, but it hurts me. And if you want to know honestly, my hope for you is that you can live a great life with a lot of integrity, a lot of dignity that increases every day, when you can protect yourself well and draw those good boundaries. I think that would be a more life-giving, enriching set of words versus, not bad, that's kind of fun. Yeah, everybody get wasted sometimes, you don't have to be so worried. This Singapore's a safe place. I mean, the latter maybe is something that if you are a friend, you have the permission to say, but not as a counselor. As a counselor, it's important to provide more than just this type of friendship kind of statements. Lastly, I was also wondering, are counselors allowed to have their own goals? Or are we supposed to park aside all our own goals to make a lot of room for the client's goals? So after thinking about it, I said yes. Whether you think that you're allowed or not allowed, you surely have a goal. Just to be honest with yourself, if a client walks in with drug addiction, your goal is always, without knowing it, subconsciously also to help to ameliorate that, right? Because it's not healthy for them to be stuck in that drug addiction, right? So if you lie to yourself, say I've got no goals, I'm just parking it entirely for the client, that's also a lie. So if you already have a goal, it is good to articulate it to the client, like, yes, I want to tell you, I want to be honest here, my desire for you is that one day you'll no longer be dependent on this drug, that you can walk out of this phase, and if there's relapse, it's okay, we'll work with it when it comes. But are you ready? Are you prepared to go on this journey with me? We'll begin it when you're ready. But that is something, this is one of my hope for you, because it comes out of a place of love. I do care for you enough to hope that for you. I'm I'm not without goals. I have my goals as well, but I'm going to be patient and I'm going to hold it loosely so that I can make room for you. I think that's a much better approach. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope that you won't find this too self-indulgent that I spent one entire video updating about myself. So the conclusion is, in the past there was a splitting. Denise as the secular counselor, Denise as the Catholic counselor, or something like that, or the Catholic. I split it. But these days there's a reintegration, a decrease in my anxiety. But all in all, I want to say that I still love my clients as much or even more these days. And everybody is welcome. I hope you don't feel that I become judgmental or I become too upright that you cannot stand my presence. I'm still the same. It was just in the past I was hiding it. These days I'm just going to be congruent about who I am, and I hope that you all will still come back and you still have great conversations with me. Thank you so much, everyone. If you like this video, kindly press like, share and subscribe. God bless.